I'm Maya Aronson, and I just decided to make a little series of videos picking some dream arc cards for each phase in my cycle this month. Just to give a little backstory, recently, or I guess for the last year or two, I've been really interested in women's health and particularly syncing up my life with my menstrual cycle. I feel like it's made a huge difference in my life, and just going down the rabbit hole, reading how women have experienced huge changes by doing this. Yeah, I'm just super into it, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to bring in the dream arc, because this is something that or I guess the cycle that is in my body is a structure that I'm really trying to allow into my life. And I thought that to support this structure, I could pull a card at the first day or the transition day of each phase of the cycle. So I just got my period this morning, and so I'm on day one, first day of the menstrual phase or inner winter, whatever you want to call it. And I have my cards right here. They're in this cute little pouch. I have all my homemade cards, and I'm just gonna pick one. Okay, I got the Adder, which is a changer. I know it's backwards. Number 3, which is my lucky number. I'm from 03 and born on the 3rd, so that's amazing. And yeah, I'm gonna go find it in the codex, read it, and then I'll get back to you and do a little riff on it. Wow, I can't even tell you how perfect and kind of scary perfect that card was for both me personally and also for the menstrual phase in the cycle. I will start with a little overview of what stood out to me from that card. I just jotted it down. I have this little notebook where I write down each day of my cycle and how I'm feeling. So I wrote down the things that stood out to me from the card. I'll just read those really quick. Shaking it up, stirring up old wounds. Things I hold dear are crumbling, mortality threatened. Pain is shaking off the old to bring in the new. Fear must be purged. Welcome what emerges. And then this last line that I just thought was so beautiful. Do not tense up, but soften and deepen your breath around the process of change. Breathe, soften, release. Be with Mother. All is well and all will be well. You are love being reborn. I mean, wow. Okay, so first of all, in my knowledge about the menstrual phase of the cycle, it's kind of like a natural death, actually, a natural ego death that happens once a month for people who menstruate. And so this card in that is really incredible, because also the menstrual cycle isn't just an ending or a death. It's when all of your hormones basically, they hit rock bottom. So you feel this kind of like emptiness, but you also can feel, and I often do, a type of grounding that's different from the phase before, the luteal phase, which can often have a lot of thoughts, negative thoughts towards yourself, a little bit of grumpiness, a little bit of PMS perhaps, some acne, fights with your partner. When you get into the menstrual phase, if you really take that time to drop in, it can be much more still and calm, but also, you know, a kind of death. And then slowly, as you move through the menstrual phase and out of it into the follicular phase or the spring, you get this kind of surge of energy, like this new beginning. So I felt like this card took us through exactly that process. Like everything you know, everything you love has to die, like this real ego death. Like even your mortality is threatened. You feel like that's it. And then you can be reborn into this kind of innocent, future looking thing that's excited and sees the good ahead. Like it said, yeah, welcome what emerges. But first you have to purge the fear. So that was really wild. That's my card for the menstrual phase. Amazing. And then for me personally, I mean, I really can't even describe how accurate this is. The last 24 hours I've had, I won't go into too much detail, but I really feel that I confronted death in a way. I was super anxious, as I do sometimes, but this was a health anxiety, which I have, and I felt like I had this fear, like I am going to die, like I am really going to die, and I had to confront that fear. Like, what? Okay, if you're gonna die, how are you gonna deal with that, and how can you lessen the suffering around it? Because I found that I was not doing what this card said, right? I was not softening and deepening my breath around the process of change. I was tensing up. I was freaking out. I was feeling anxious and out of control around the process of change. And then slowly, as I sat with it and I realized, okay, I have to surrender. I can't do anything to fix this problem right now. How can I make this moment a little bit less awful for myself? And I just kind of sat with this idea of like, okay, what if I did die? What is so bad about that? And I found that the fear was actually, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to handle the emotions that came up with knowing that I was gonna die while I was alive. I wasn't afraid of the death, actually. And then another thing I realized also through talking to my mom was that this real deep anxiety about death was actually coming at a time where I have so much in my life that I want to live for. I have so much to look forward to. It's really a moment in my life where it's like I'm at a precipice and all of this energy is like building up, and all of a sudden it's just going to shoot forward. Yeah. And I feel like I'm really tapping into my purpose, what I want to do on this planet while I'm here. And so, of course, this is not, I don't want to die, right? Like there's so much ahead of me. I feel it now more than ever. So that makes sense that this fear of death would come, because that's probably the worst thing that could happen to me right now. And even though it's the worst thing that could happen, I just had to confront it. I had to deal with it. And that's exactly what this card was saying, or at least what I heard from the card this time reading it. Yeah, I'm just looking through. Yeah, like everything that I'm holding dear is crumbling. But then you have to feel the fear. Oh yeah, this is the other line, this line, the pain that you feel is just shaking off the old to bring in the new. Like the snake, right? Like the pain that I feel is just maybe coming into this new power that I found, or this new purpose that I discovered. And then welcoming, remember to welcome what emerges. I was just talking to a friend about remembering to pause in the joy and in the suffering, because often we feel stuck in the suffering, but we forget to pause in the joy, like, wow, I'm actually in a good part of my life. Why, when I'm in a good part of my life, do I suddenly turn to fear death? I mean, I guess it makes sense and it's all part of the journey, but maybe I can also just pause in the good things that are happening as well. So yeah, that was a lot, but that's the menstrual phase. It's a rough one. I think the ovulatory phase card will be a little lighter. Who knows? Maybe not. But yeah, that is my first menstrual cycle dream arc pull, the adder. And I'll be collecting these on my altar. And yeah, and I'll see you when I enter the follicular phase. Bye.